How much of a challenge has it been, to have injuries to, both your specialists now?
Yeah, it's tough to deal with any injury, but that's the fact of the matter is in this league that happens. And we just got to be prepared for whoever's out there to perform at their best. It's our job to get the guys enough reps in practice to give them enough confidence to go out and execute in the game.
Is there anything that could have been done to prevent Jamie's injury?
No. I mean, he just got hurt in practice.
Have you ever had to deal with anything like this where you're trying to bring in guys to work out and like constant kind of turnover and like days before the game?
I think people would look at it as like it's happened a good amount this season. But yeah, the fact of the matter is every NFL season I've been part of, those workouts, those injuries happen, that we have to stay connected to, getting guys ready at multiple positions.
Is there anything you could pinpoint with Greg missing the field goals and his struggles really in that game?
Yeah, he just the first one hit a good ball, but his target line was a little off, and then the second one he just pulled it.
The next night, Greg Zerline, who you've worked with, had similar troubles in SD. Is that just a welcome to the Meadowlands type of a thing, or is it technique?
I mean, any outdoor stadium, there's always wind that you have to pay attention to, especially as you get into these months. So, we're not going to make excuses due to the weather. Our objective is always to go out there and make kicks, and that's what we need to do. It doesn't matter whether it's a snowy game or anything. When we send out our field goal unit, we got to come out with points.
How much is the operation part of that? I mean, not only you have a pretty new kicker, but you also have a new holder. What was that process like the last few days?
That's a fair question, but Matt, has held in this league. He's punted in this league, and he's held, a lot of football. So, nothing with the operation. We're not going to make excuses again. We got to go out and make the kicks.
How do you think he did in his Giants debut as a punter?
For showing up later in the week, I thought he did a solid job. I know he wants to have a couple punts back, but I thought he ended up, averaging a good ball, and then he hit a really good ball that he needs to bottle that up and keep producing that one. The one outside the numbers with high hang and good distance. I know that's his objective every time, and that's a standard that he'll hold himself to, and same here.
Is that? I mean, he's a punter. He's punted in the league. He has a good resume as a punter. So when you get him in, is it a philosophy thing? Is it just kick it the way you can? Is it we like to do it this way here? So you know what I'm saying? Or is his job just a punter, just kick it high and kick it far?
Yeah. So obviously, as a coach, you want to make the transition into a new system as seamless as possible. It helps when a veteran guy comes in because he's been in those situations, and I've coached against him before, so kind of had an idea of what type of punts he'd hit. And when he got in here, we just talked about what did you call this, and this is the same as this. So the communication element, you're basically expediting that from my standpoint of just making it simpler for him. And then just obviously, like I said, the experience of knowing what type of punts he hits allowed me and him to have good communication on the sideline.
And does he have to then, spend extra time with the coverage guys and everything and kind of, be in unison on what, this is what I like to do, what I mean? Because it's, once he kicks it, he's not going to make the tackle. Somebody else has to do it.
Yeah, not as much as you'd think. I think the singular focus for him is hitting a good ball with hang time matching the distance. So it doesn't matter what punter it is. We always, challenge our punters to hit a hang time that matches the distance. So, for example, if we want to hit a 45-yard punt, we would want more of a 4.5 second hang time or above. If we hit a 50-yard punt, we'd want a 5.0 second hang time or above. And that's really what he's focusing on, whether he's punting in the middle, left, right, any territory. That is singular objective. And then, our coverage is tied into, they got to cover the ball wherever it's at, So we just got to have good fundamentals in terms of that.
Did you know Matt before lunch on Saturday, I guess? Whatever it was.
I spoke to him pre-game a couple times, but not enough to say that, we were buddies or anything. But, from my brief time with him, again, you bring in a guy like that, he's a true pro, understands the way this league operates, and everything that we've asked of him, he's came in and tried to do it to the best of his ability.
And then just to get back to Greg a second, he struggled a little bit with those kicks. Does that give you pause at all when you send him out here, or when you're in a situation and Dave says, what do you think? should we kick it? Can we kick it from here?
Yeah, I mean, but before that point, obviously Greg had a little bit of success, and he's had success in his career. He holds himself to a high standard, and I hold him to that standard as well. He knows he wanted to make those kicks, and the true pro in him, because he's such an awesome pro, he will evaluate the film, and then he'll be very intentional and deliberate with his practice habits of making certain that doesn't happen again. You know, his objective, and I'm telling you, just because he is a true pro, he's had good percentage across the league. He wants to consistently make kicks regardless of where it's out on the field. It could be a chip shot, it could be a 60-yarder. He knows when he's out there, his singular focus is to make that kick. So
You've had some interesting injury situations with your specialists this year, but I'm not sure anyone could truly prepare, although you probably will, for what happened with Chicago with their long snapper. Just curious, from afar, when you see something like that, do you come into this week and say, you know what, if we had this amount of time getting extra long snappers ready, we're going to go that much further, knowing that they were essentially down to their third long snapper in that game?
yeah, so we every week we do practice that. We practice all the flex positions, and we make certain that we have a couple options there. This is not necessarily a reminder to do it because we do it every week, but you know, a good opportunity to show the guys is this is why we do it. This is why we practice every week, because there's opportunities that, you know, Chicago was in that guy had to go in and execute, and you know, it obviously did a nice job. So more so a good reminder for the players, like, yeah, this is why I have to stay connected to it.
What happened with you had to call the timeout on the punt coverage there? Is it 12 men on the field? Or?
Yeah, so there was a confusion of what personnel was out there. That's on me. I got to make sure the right personnel is out there to where we're always having 11 on the field. Starts with me.